Hi everyone, welcome to week 12 of our Composition 1 class. This week you'll bring everything together. You're researching, you're pre-writing, all your good critical thinking to write a draft of Writing Project 3. By the end of the week, you'll post your draft to the discussion board so that your peers can give you feedback next week. Don't forget to take a look at the Student Success Gallery before you begin drafting your paper. It would be wise for you to get a sense of how other students have approached this project in the past. Task 12.1 is writing a draft for your project. Use the resources available to you. Go back to last week's pre-writing to get started, reread the assignment description to remind yourself what your goal is, look at the Student Success Gallery, and consult the field guide menu at the front of the book to find specific chapters that might support your drafting. And then, once you feel prepared, open a document and start writing. For your first draft, don't worry about getting your source citations exactly right. You can go back to those later. For now, just get the ideas down in sentence and paragraph form. For task 12.2, you will be designing your document. One design consideration is MLA format. Like Writing Project 2, Writing Project 3 asks you to lay out your paper according to MLA guidelines. You can take a look at the Norton Field Guide, pages 588 through 596, for an example of how your paper should be formatted. Note that your paper should be double-spaced in 12-point times New Roman or Arial font. Your name, my name, the date, as well as the class, I believe. I'm actually blanking on what MLA. I get MLA and APA confused sometimes. Should appear in the top left corner of the first page. See the last pages of the sample paper for proper works cited layout. Yes, your name, my name, the class, and the due date. That's what MLA calls for. Another design consideration is the use of headings and subheadings. If you want, you can incorporate headings in your paper to help guide readers through your piece. For task 12.3a, you'll learn how to acknowledge sources via in-text citations. MLA calls for you to cite your sources in two places. First of all, within your sentences. These are called in-text citations. Sometimes they will be referred to as parenthetical citations. You also need to cite your sources in your works cited page, which appears at the end of the document. There should only be 3 to 5 sources that you'll cite in your paper, but you'll need to cite them in both of the places mentioned above. First, we're going to be looking at in-text citations. When you refer to an author's ideas within your paper, you'll usually need to use what the field guide calls a signal phrase, which is a phrase that tells the reader who is saying what. It signals to your reader where the information is coming from. You may also need to use a parenthetical citation that includes the author's name and/or page number. Please review the assigned pages from your textbook so that you can make your in-text citations reliable and helpful to readers. You can also take a look at this video about in-text citations. For your works cited page, make sure your works cited page is the last page of your document. It should be a page all its own, so it shouldn't be on the same page as your conclusion. When citing articles, which is very likely what a lot of your sources will be, you can follow this pattern. So if you're using an article accessed from a library database, your citation will look like this. And here is an example. Now, I will say something that is not helpful about these examples is they do not use hanging indents. In MLA, and in fact in APA as well, the first line of your citation should be flush with the margin. So it should be all the way to the left side of your paper, touching the margin. Each subsequent line should be indented. It just needs to be tabbed over once. So you'll see that here both lines are touching the margin, whereas this second line should actually be indented. In our example as well, this first line is correct, but both this line and this line should be tabbed over once. If you access your articles from something other than the library's online databases, check your field guide. They have lots of examples for how to cite basically anything you could need to. And we have a video here about MLA format citing database articles. For task 12.4, you're going to be making your week 12/13 discussion board post. To do this, you'll just be posting your rough draft to the discussion board. You can either copy and paste it into the text box, or my personal preference, attaching it as a Word doc. At the top of your post, be sure to make a few notes about what you're struggling with, what you'd like feedback on, etc. You don't have any other posts this week. Next week, you'll be reading and peer reviewing your classmates' drafts. And lastly, you're just going to submit the writing that you produced in response to task 12.1, which is your rough draft. So I've mentioned this before, but just to reiterate, you'll be submitting your draft in two ways. On Thursday, you'll be posting it to the discussion board so that your peers can read it. On Sunday, by 11:59, you will be uploading it here so that I can read it. That is all for this week. If there's anything you would like help with, please let me know and I will do my best to help you.